Hey everybody, Papa Todd Takes. I'm Papa Todd. Let's talk a little bit about the WNBA shit show once again. Boy, folks, this is seriously, when everybody's been saying the one phrase over and over again, it couldn't be more true. It is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it can't go a day without somebody over there putting a foot in their mouth, looking like an absolute turd. Absolutely incredible. So let's talk about three things today. We're going to talk about Cheryl Miller and Sue Bird calling all Caitlyn fans outsiders. We're going to talk about our good friend Emmanuel Acho again, showing that the guy is probably part of the NFL concussion protocol. He is not the brightest bulb in the box. And then we're finally going to talk about Kathy Engelberg calling a meeting to discuss transgender eligibility in the WNBA. I can't make this shit up, guys. Here it is. Hey, in the meantime, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, help spread the word, try to get some more people coming on over here. Really excited about some of the things that are going to be turning on here. But anyway, let's go to the WNBA. I'm not gonna really carry on much about the whole thing with Dejanay Carrington and Sophie Cunningham. Well, I guess I will talk about it a little bit when I talk about Emmanuel Acho and the dumb shit he puts out. But anyway, so I caught a bit of a clip, and people have just shown a little bit of a clip, and I will admit I haven't seen the whole thing. But the part I said I think is pretty self-explanatory. So you got Cheryl Miller, she's talking, and man, her and Sue Bird, I wanna like them, but then they say stuff that's so like, you're just not there, right? So they started talking about all the new fans to the WNBA, which obviously the vast majority of those are the casual fans that got into it because of Caitlyn Clark, maybe a couple other players, but the vast majority is Caitlyn Clark. And we're talking about WNBA or Indiana Fever fans and Caitlyn Clark fans. They're going in there, and they call them outsiders that are trying to come in and hijack the league. Outsiders? So what, are we only allowing people that are in, as Monica McNutt called it, the sisterhood? Is that what we're allowing? Is that the only people that are allowed to get in the game? Right? Are outsiders just people that think differently than you, that don't agree with every freaking opinion that you hold, as extreme and stupid as it may be? Is that what an outsider is? What is an outsider? Because you've been bitching and moaning for 30 years that outsiders weren't coming in to put butts in the seats, put money in your pockets, so you get all this. This is what you've been screaming for. And now they come in here and they don't all espouse to the whole, this love fest between the LGBTQIA stuff, right? So the outsiders, by the way, came in, have enabled you guys to have success that you've never been able to do on your own. Right? And then trying to hijack the lead. Exactly how do you want to define hijacking the league, right? I'd really like to know this. Do you mean by turning it into a real sports league? Is that hijacking it? By making it profitable? Is that hijacking it? Is your new TV deals? Is that hijacking it? How about all this more money? Is that hijacking? Is that piracy? Huh? What's going on? I'd like to know. What exactly do you mean by hijacking the league? You've been bitching and moaning about all this stuff for years, and you finally get it. And because they don't conform and agree with everything you say and just allow you to carry on with your absolute freaking nonsense about when somebody says a female sport should be female sports, female-born sports, right? When they say this, all of a sudden it's attack on little children that happen to be trans, which is the biggest garbage argument. You guys carry it so far. You guys I don't even think you know your own stupidity. Well, obviously you don't, right? So, oh God. Acho. So then Emmanuel Acho. Now he starts talking about the Dejanay Carrington and Sophie Cunningham thing, and he immediately goes. Now, DJ Carrick, for those of you who haven't followed, she hard foul, I mean, flagrant 2, obvious, just beat the living hell out of Sophie. Completely egregious error. Not that Sophie's never done it and everything like this, but Sophie's been kicked out. And Acho's point, I'll take because I don't watch basketball. Everybody's done it and got away with it at some point. But then he immediately goes to Caitlyn Clark and drags it. She had absolutely nada nothing to do with this play. Nothing to do with this play at all. And yet he brings her in. Because it's the white girl, or what do they call her, white Jesus, or whatever the hell, idiot bullshit group of morons that's in that, whatever the hell that show is. Oh my God. But then he starts arguing it, and then he starts reeling it back in. He realizes how stupid he's sounding, which is he starts talking like a moron that he is. And he does all this and starts trying to play like, oh, we got to talk it down. We can't be bringing race into this a week, or maybe 2 weeks, after his argument against Caitlyn Clark when she said, I'm staying out of it. I'm not a political. I'm not getting into this race game. Where he said, you're not enough of an ally. You're not standing up enough. You have to bark and chirp and help me out. Oh, you guys are have such a hyperinflated sense of self. It's absolutely bizarre. So, but anyway, and then finally, just enough. It's just exhausting. All of this stuff is exhausting. But I want to cover one more thing, and I pulled this up because I want to make sure I say this right. That Kathy Engelberg, the commissioner of the WNBA, has now pulled a meeting this week. I think it started today. It must be several days. About, now people are saying to discuss what the definition of a woman is. That's not what it's about. Is they're having a meeting to discuss transgender eligibility in women's sports and the WNBA in particular. Guys, seriously, it's coming to this. They're actually going to have a debate, which is hilarious because they pushed their stupid bullshit long enough that they actually now have to come out, have a public debate, and define it. They have to define who's eligible and who isn't. This is going to be epic. This is going to be, every day they release something, this is going to, oh my God, I'm not even going to have to work at this. It's just going to just drip off the page with their stupidity, ignorance, all this kind of stuff. And it's also going to force a lot of them, like your Cheryl Reeves, right? Maybe Cheryl Miller after what she's saying, your Megan Rapinos. All of these are going to have to come out, and they're going to have to start standing up and saying, no, this is why adult people born as males who went through puberty are now eligible to play, because you can't define the physical attributes because it's all different. All the effects are different, right? So now that these former male NBA players are declaring themselves eligible for the WNBA draft, they're like, oh shit, we got to figure something out. We actually got to come up with something. We can't just talk this la la land, rainbow, unicorn bullshit. We actually have to come out and do something and maybe pretend for once to be a serious league and serious adults. Engelberg is not up to this. She is not up to this. They need to get rid of her, Engelberg, whatever the hell her name is. She's a moron. And it's just blown up in her face. And there's still crickets about everything that isn't negative to Sophie or Caitlyn or the Fever. They still won't say anything about it. The league's come out and said nothing about this dipshit Dejanay stuff that came out. Nothing's come out about that. But now they're going to do it. But here's the fun part about this. And I wrote this down because this is what they were talking about all weekend. And they kept saying it. And Natalie Nakaze and Cheryl Reeves, and sports and the WNBA is all about inclusivity. Is it? Is it really? Because who are you going to include now? All trans? How do you define trans? Because it's just about how people identify, right? And you can identify at any given point in time. You've walked yourselves into your own corner. You have to define your own psycho bullshit. This is going to be genius because you're going to X yourselves right out. You guys are morons, right? Because if you put any limits on it, well, Now you're excluding people. This is about inclusion. It's about inclusion, all. What are you going to do the second you don't include everybody? Then what about that poor little 6-year-old kid who all of their cousins are girls, so they like to dress and play like a cousin? Maybe they're not trans. Maybe they're just pretending. Maybe they're absolutely confused and that's it, and they're going to grow out of it. Or do we just call them trans and fuck with their head for the rest of their lives? Again, not saying there's no such thing as people with gender dysphoria or the psychological belief that they are in the wrong body, whatever that may be. It's not everybody who's claiming to be trans. It ain't. Just ain't. So Cheryl Reeves and all the pro-trans group now has to figure out who's eligible. And unless the answer is everybody, they've just exposed themselves for the pure bullshit artists they are. This is going to be genius. This should be a fun week or two, folks. Just when I thought I had nothing to say, the WNBA produces again. Folks, have a great week. Papa Todd takes. I'm Papa Todd. Keep thinking for yourselves and don't fall for all this bullshit. It's about to be exposed. Take care.